I want to talk about critical race theory and how it has played out over the years. Critically looking at race and from maybe a theoretical standpoint, how if we don't share things, then bad things can happen again. Let's take a look at two different studies. Back in 1961, there was something called the Milgram Experiment. It was a psychological study done where they brought in random people who agreed to participate in this experiment. Now, they gave them, let's say, a button. They're on the button. They said, now listen, there's somebody on the other side of that screen. We're going to give you a series of questions. You ask them the questions. Well, first of all, you give them a script. They have to memorize it. Then you're going to give them a little bit of time to memorize it. And for every wrong answer they get, you push the button and it gives them a shock. Now, the dial, it had like mild to more mild to severe, super severe, all the way to where it said death. So the guy would sit there and he'd say, okay, question number one. All right, the question number one is whatever. And if he got it wrong, he'd go, pop. And the guy on the other side of the screen would go, ouch. Then, he would ask him the next question and he would get it. He'd say, okay, that's right. Next question. Now, first of all, there was nobody on the other side of the screen getting shocked at all. Every time he'd ask him a question, if he missed the question, the shock value went up. It's severe. Pow! Ow! Pow! Ow! Now, the person administering the shocks could have quit at any time. They didn't say you had to keep going. They just told him, you have to do this, all right? It got all the way up to where it was like it's severe, extreme shock. He asked him the question. He goes, sorry, wrong. And he looks at the person who told him to do it, and he goes, do I have to give him the shock? He goes, now granted, the person could have quit at any time. Pow! The guy goes, ow! No, there's nobody there. Then he asked him the next question. There was no response. And the guy says, we ask him, what should I do? He said, shock him. He turns it up to the next level, which says death. Pops it. Nothing. He said, shock him again. Nothing. Now, there was no one on the other side of the screen that they were actually shocking or was killing. But what he did demonstrate to us is that the guy who was told to do something would do it anyway. Next case, 10 years later, you have the Stanford prison study where they took a group of random students, some over here, some over here. One group of students were told they were going to be prisoners. The next group of students were told, you are going to be the prison guards or whatever, the one who's going to keep them in line. So this was, again, it was an experiment. They said, you guys can leave anytime you want. Now, before I wrap this up, I'm not sure everybody went all the way through with it, but the majority of the people did. So it was proven that the more authority that this group of wardens and prisoner guards had, the more crueler they became to the prisoners. The prisoners, fake prisoners, of course, were told that, yeah, you're nothing. They were degraded. They were put into a place where they felt inferior. And these guys just, it got bad till they finally had to stop it because they were being so cruel to the quote unquote prisoners that it was just unacceptable. Now, how does this all tie in? We live in an interesting time right now where you say, don't talk about things that happen, okay? We have schools that are being inundated. Children are being unalived by people walking around with firearms. Do we say, oh, that's something bad, let's not talk about it? No, we say, we remember that happened over there. Okay, so we need to put some locks up. We need to put protocols in place because you got bad people out there doing bad things. No, it's bad. It's something that happened. Not everybody's bad. But unless we have rules to cover that, it could happen again. Seatbelts. I remember a time when there was no seatbelts in the car. That's how old I am. Oh no, if you put seatbelts in a car, it's going to make people think that cars are unsafe. Yes, that was actually a campaign. But because we learned the fact that cars can kill people, especially if you don't have seatbelts and you put some people behind the wheel who are inebriated, it doesn't mix. No, we don't want to talk about it because we don't want people to think that cars are bad or the people that are driving under the influence are bad. And yes, we do. We talk about it. Oh, but that's going to make my Uncle Joe look really bad. No, it's not going to make your Uncle Joe look really bad. We're going to learn the lesson that Uncle Joe, if left unchecked, could turn into be a bad person. Sometimes we have to check ourselves critically, think about racial things that have happened critically, and really seriously, theoretically, think about things that have happened and why they happen. Critical race theory, it's simply a mechanism to keep people in check that can inherently easily become just like that man or the people giving those electric shocks or those people who thought they had unchecked authority and they thought nothing of it to be cruel and evil to people that they went to school with. Critical race theory simply keeps us in check by teaching us history's lessons and things that we should have learned from some of our bad decisions. Simply that. Nothing to be afraid of. It does not make people look bad. I have people that I tell all the time, look, your ancestors didn't do that to me. But however, if the stories are left untold and unchecked, it's easily that people can begin to have those same mindsets and those same ideologies that they had years ago, which would put us in further turmoil if left unchecked. I'm Kirk Waddy, Critical Race Theory.